this. Hey guys, this is AJ from Age's Adventures, and happy Star Wars Sunday. Today's fanfic will be what if Plagueis killed Palpatine. So, you Star Wars Legends nerds, you better be listening in to this. This is going to be very interesting, alright. So, let's begin this. It was a dark and stormy night on the planet of Coruscant. The streets were deserted, and the only sound was the patter of rain against the Durasteel buildings. Inside a grand and opulent palace, two figures stood facing each other in a large, ornate chamber. One was Darth Plagueis, the Sith Lord who had mastered the power of manipulating the Force to create and sustain life. The other was his apprentice, Darth Sidious, also known as Emperor Palpatine, who had betrayed his master and taken control of the galaxy. "You should never have betrayed me, my apprentice," Plagueis said, his voice cold and menacing. "You were a tool, a means to an end, but you grew too powerful, and now you threaten my plans." Palpatine stood tall, a smirk on his face. "Your plans? I am the Emperor now, the most powerful Sith Lord in the galaxy. You are nothing but a relic of the past, a forgotten master." Plagueis sneered. "You underestimate me, my apprentice. I have powers beyond your imagination, powers that I will use to end your reign and restore the Sith to their rightful place." Palpatine laughed. "I'd like to see you try, old man." With that, the two Sith Lords ignited their lightsabers and charged at each other, the clash of their weapons echoing through the chamber. Plagueis was a skilled warrior, his movements fluid and precise, but Palpatine was faster and more aggressive, his attacks relentless. For a few moments, the two Siths seemed evenly matched. But then Plagueis began to draw on the power of the Force, his eyes glowing with a sinister red light. He unleashed a torrent of dark energy that blasted Palpatine back, shattering the walls of the chamber and sending debris flying everywhere. As the smoke cleared, Plagueis stood triumphant, his lightsaber still humming with power. Palpatine lay motionless on the ground, his body twisted and broken. "You were right, my master," Plagueis said, his voice filled with satisfaction. "The dark side is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural, and now it has led me to this victory." He walked over to Palpatine's lifeless body and looked down at it with a mix of disdain and triumph. "Your arrogance was your downfall, my apprentice, but your death will pave the way for a new era of Sith supremacy." With those words, Plagueis turned and walked away, his footsteps echoing through the ruins of the palace. The storm outside raged on, as if in approval of his victory, and the galaxy would never be the same again. How would Valorum, the Senate, Naboo, and the Jedi react to Palpatine's death? After the news of Palpatine's death reached the hands of Darth Plagueis reached the galaxy, reactions were mixed. Some, like the newly elected Chancellor Valorum, were relieved that the tyrannical rule of the Sith were finally over. Others, like the Naboo, mourned the loss of their former senator and leader. The Jedi were also left grappling with the implications of this sudden change in power. Valorum was in his office on Coruscant when he received news. He stared at the hollow image of Plagueis standing over Palpatine's lifeless body with a mix of shock and awe. "Is this true?" he asked, turning to his aide. "Yes, Chancellor," the aide confirmed. "We've received multiple reports from various sources. It seems that Plagueis used the dark side of the Force to kill Palpatine and take his place as the Sith Lord." Valorum leaned back in his chair, taking a deep breath. "Thank the Force," he muttered under his breath. "Perhaps now we can begin to rebuild and restore democracy to the galaxy." Meanwhile, on the planet of Naboo, the people were in mourning. They had grown to respect Palpatine during his time as their senator and leader, even though they knew of his involvement in the Clone Wars and the establishment of the Empire. They still saw him as a symbol of their former way of life. Padme Amidala, now a retired senator, was among those mourning his passing. "I can't believe he's gone," she said, tears streaming down her face. "He was a good man, a friend to Naboo. We may not have agreed with his actions, but we always respected him." The Jedi, on the other hand, were left to grapple with the implications of this sudden change in power. They knew that Plagueis was a powerful Sith Lord, and his ascension to the position of Emperor could mean trouble for the galaxy. Obi-Wan Kenobi was among the first to voice his concerns. "We need to be vigilant," he said to his fellow Jedi. "If Plagueis is indeed the new Sith Lord, then we must be prepared for anything. He may have new plans, new strategies, new tactics that we've never seen before." Yoda nodded in agreement. "A time of great change this is," he said. "The balance of the Force has shifted. We must tread carefully. We must be wise." The news of Palpatine's death at the hands of Darth Plagueis sent shockwaves through the galaxy, leaving many to wonder what the future held. The only thing that was certain was that the Sith were still a threat, and the Jedi would need to be ready to face them once again. Would Higo Damask become the Chancellor of the Republic? If you guys don't know, Higo Damask is Darth Plagueis. Now let's continue. Higo Damask, also known as Darth Plagueis, told you, had ascended to the position of Emperor after killing his former apprentice, Darth Sidious, also known as Palpatine. The news of Palpatine's death sent shockwaves through the galaxy, leaving many to wonder what the future held. The only thing that was certain was that the Sith were still a threat, and the Jedi would need to be ready to face them once again. As for the political situation in the Republic, the sudden death of Palpatine left a power vacuum that needed to be filled. The Senate was in disarray. The question on everyone's mind was, who would become the new Chancellor? Many speculated that Higo Damask, who had just killed the former Chancellor, would try to take the position for himself. However, he surprised everyone by announcing that he had no interest in politics and would instead focus on consolidating his power as the new Sith Lord. "I have no desire to be Chancellor," he said, addressing the Senate. "My only goal is to maintain the Sith's control over the galaxy and restore order to the chaos that has plagued us for too long." The Senate was taken aback by his words, but also relieved that he had no immediate plans to seize power. They quickly scrambled to come up with a new candidate for chancellor, eventually setting on Bail Organa, a senator from Alderaan. Senator Organa has proven a track record of leadership and diplomacy, Vlorm said in a statement to the press. We believe he is the right person to guide the Republic through this turbulent time and lead us to a brighter future. Bail Organa accepted the nomination with a sense of duty and responsibility. I am honored to be considered for the position of Chancellor, he said. I will do everything in my power to serve the people of the Republic and uphold the values of democracy and justice. Higo Damask, now known as Darth Plagueis, continued to work behind the scenes, manipulating events to further his own agenda. He knew that the Jedi were a threat to his rule and began to devise a plan to wipe them out once and for all. In the end, the decision to not become Chancellor was a wise one for Higo Damask, as it allowed him to maintain a low profile and work on his own agenda without attracting too much attention. And while he did not hold a formal political position, his power and influence over the galaxy would continue to grow, leaving the fate of the Republic and the Jedi in a precarious position. Would Maul still kill Qui-Gon? Even with the sudden change in power, with the death of Palpatine and the ascension of Darth Plagueis as the new Sith Lord, the events that led to the tragic death of Qui-Gon Jinn at the hands of Darth Maul would still play out. Qui-Gon and his Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, had been dispatched to the planet Naboo to protect Queen Amidala and her people from the invasion of the Trade Federation. It was during this mission that they encountered Maul, who had been sent by his new master, Darth Plagueis, to eliminate the Jedi. As they engaged in a fierce lightsaber battle, Qui-Gon quickly realized that Maul was not just any Sith Lord, but one of incredible power and skill. Your power is impressive, Sith, Qui-Gon said, deflecting a barrage of blows from Maul's double-bladed lightsaber. But it will not be enough to defeat us, Maul sneered. You underestimate the power of the dark side, Jedi. I would destroy you and your Padawan, just as I have been commanded. The battle raged on, with Qui-Gon and Maul trading blows back and forth. Obi-Wan tried to keep up to help, but was ultimately separated by his master by the fierce onslaught of Maul's attacks. In the end, it was a fatal mistake on Qui-Gon's part that led to his downfall. As he battled Maul, he allowed himself to be distracted by the presence of Queen Amidala and her retinue, giving Maul the opportunity he needed to strike. With a swift stroke of his lightsaber, Maul impaled Qui-Gon, killing him instantly. Obi-Wan, who had been fighting elsewhere, raced back to find his master dying in his arms. No, Master, he cried. You can't die. Not like this. Qui-Gon looked up at Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon looked up at him, his eyes filled with pain and regret. You must train the boy, Obi-Wan, he whispered. He is the chosen one, the one who will bring balance to the Force. Obi-Wan nodded, tears streaming down his face. I will, Master, he said. I promise. And with that, Qui-Gon Jinn, one of the greatest Jedi of his time, passed away, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and guidance for his Padawan and the future of the Jedi Order. Would Obi-Wan still be successful in defeating Maul? After the tragic death of Qui-Gon Jinn, his Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, was filled with a deep sense of loss and a burning desire for revenge against the Sith Lord, Darth Maul, who had killed his beloved master. But even in the midst of his grief, Obi-Wan knew that he had to honor Qui-Gon's dying wish and train the young boy he had met on Tatooine, Anakin Skywalker, who was believed to be the chosen one. But before he could fulfill his duty, he had to face off against Maul in a one-on-one lightsaber duel. With Qui-Gon gone, Obi-Wan was determined to avenge his master's death and defeat the Sith Lord who had taken him away. The two warriors clashed their blades with incredible speed and ferocity, exchanging blows in a flurry of acrobatics and martial arts. Maul fought with a deadly precision, his double-bladed lightsaber proving to be a formidable weapon against Obi-Wan's single blade. "You cannot defeat me, Jedi," Maul taunted, his voice dripping with malice. "I am the master now." But Obi-Wan refused to be intimidated. He knew that he had to stay focused and find a weakness in Maul's attack. After a few minutes of intense combat, Obi-Wan finally saw his chance. As Maul swung his lightsaber in a wide arc, Obi-Wan ducked and rolled, dodging the attack and slicing Maul's lightsaber in half in the process. With his weapon now useless, Maul was vulnerable. Obi-Wan seized the opportunity and, with a swift motion, sliced Maul in half, sending him down a reactor shaft to his death. It is finished," Obi-Wan said, panting from exertion. "The Sith are no more." But even as he spoke those words, he knew that the threat of the Sith was far from over. He had felt a disturbance in the Force, a sense that the dark side was growing stronger and more dangerous with each passing day. And with a heavy heart, Obi-Wan knew that he had to take on the task of training Anakin Skywalker and guide him on the path of the Jedi, while also remaining vigilant against the threat of the Sith and their evil designs for the galaxy. Would Yoda allow Obi-Wan to train Anakin? With the defeat of the Sith Lord, Darth Maul, and the tragic loss of Qui-Gon Jinn, the Jedi Order was left in a state of flux. But amidst the chaos, there was one thing that was certain: Anakin Skywalker, the boy who Qui-Gon had believed was to be the chosen one, needed to be trained in the ways of the Force. It was a task that Qui-Gon had entrusted to his Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, before he died. But the question remained: would the Jedi Council allow Obi-Wan to take on such an important responsibility, especially given his recent loss and his own emotional turmoil? Obi-Wan entered the council chambers with trepidation, knowing that the decision that would be made here would have a profound impact on his future and that of the galaxy. Master Yoda, Masters Windu, Kiadi Mundi, Obi-Wan said, bowing respectfully to the assembled Jedi Council. "I come before you today to request permission to train the boy, Anakin Skywalker." "Know this, young Obi-Wan," Yoda said, his voice filled with caution. "A great responsibility it is to train the boy. Grave danger he faces, many trials he will have to endure." Hope you guys are enjoying this fanfic so far. Obi-Wan nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I know," Master Yoda. But I promised my master that I would train him, and I intend to honor that promise. The council members exchanged glances, and there was a moment of hesitation before Mace Windu spoke up. Very well, Obi-Wan. You have our permission to train the boy, Anakin Skywalker. But you must be mindful of his emotions and his connection to the Force. His fate, and that of the galaxy, rests in your hands. Obi-Wan bowed deeply in gratitude. Thank you, masters. I will not fail you. And with that, Obi-Wan left the council chambers, his heart filled with a sense of purpose and a renewed determination to fulfill his duty as a Jedi, and to guide Anakin Skywalker on the path of becoming a Jedi, a true Jedi Knight. Would Dooku still turn to the dark side? The death of Palpatine and the defeat of Darth Maul had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and nowhere was this felt more keenly than in the Jedi Order. But even as the Jedi struggled to regroup and rebuild, there were those who were already plotting their next moves, and the Sith were not yet defeated. One such figure was Count Dooku, a former Jedi Master and one of the most skilled and respected member of the Order. Dooku had grown disillusioned with the corruption and strategization and stagnation of the Republic, and he had been secretly approached by the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, who had promised him power, wealth, and a chance to shape the galaxy according to his own vision. But with the death of Palpatine and the defeat of Maul, Dooku found himself at a crossroads. He knew that the Jedi were in a state of disarray, and that the Republic was on the brink of collapse. But he also knew that he could not continue to serve the Sith in their twisted agenda. One day, Dooku sought out Yoda, and one of the wisest and most respected members of the Jedi Council, and asked for his counsel. Master Yoda, Dooku said, bowing respectfully, I have come to seek your guidance. I find myself torn between my loyalty to the Jedi and my desire to the galaxy. Can you help me? Yoda regarded Dooku with a mixture of suspicion and concern. A difficult path you have chosen, Count Dooku. Leave the Jedi, you did, and the dark side you have embraced. Come back, you cannot, without facing judgment. Dooku nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. I know, Master Yoda, but I cannot continue to serve the Sith. They have brought nothing but pain and suffering to the galaxy. I want to fight for a better future, but I do not know where to turn. Yoda regarded Dooku for a long moment, weighing his words carefully. A path to redemption there is, Count Dooku, but a difficult one it will be. Return to the Jedi. You must, and face the consequences of your actions. Only then can you begin to make amends and earn forgiveness. Return to the Jedi, more like Return of the Jedi. Dooku nodded, his expression somber. I understand, Master Yoda, and I am prepared to do what is necessary to atone for my sins. But what of the Sith? What of their plans for the galaxy? Yoda regarded Dooku with a grave expression. The Sith, we will continue to fight. But for now, focus on your own journey. You must. A long road it will be, but with patience and diligence, redemption you can find. And with those words, Dooku left the Jedi Temple, his heart filled with a sense of purpose and a newfound determination to make amends for his past mistakes, and to find a new path forward in the galaxy. Would Plagueis take Dooku as his apprentice? With the death of Palpatine, the Sith hierarchy had been thrown into disarray. Plagueis, the master of Palpatine and a powerful Sith Lord in his own right, had always been more interested in the esoteric mysteries of the Force than in the political machinations of the galaxy. But with the death of his apprentice and the apparent demise of the Sith's grand plan, Plagueis found himself at a crossroads. One day, as he meditated in his private chambers, Plagueis sensed a disturbance in the Force. It was a powerful presence, filled with a mix of darkness and remorse, and it drew him inexorably toward it. Curious, he followed the trail of the presence until he came upon Count Dooku standing alone on a desolate world. "Count Dooku," Plagueis said, his voice echoing through the empty landscape. "What brings you to this forsaken place?" Dooku turned, his eyes blazing with a mix of anger and pain. "I have come seeking answers, Darth Plagueis, and I have found them." Plagueis regarded Dooku with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. "What answers have you found, Count Dooku, and what brings you to me?" Dooku stepped forward, his eyes blazing with a newfound purpose. "I have seen the fully way of my ways, Darth Plagueis. I have come to offer you my service. I wish to be your apprentice, to learn the ways of the dark side, and to help you achieve your goals." Plagueis regarded Dooku with a mixture of amusement and intrigue. And what goals are those, Count Dooku? The destruction of the Jedi? The domination of the galaxy? Dooku smiled wryly. "Those are my goals, Darth Plagueis, those are your goals, Darth Plagueis, but they are not mine. I wish to use the dark side to create a better future for the galaxy, to bring order, stability, and justice to a universe that has known nothing but chaos and suffering." Plagueis regarded Dooku for a long moment, his eyes glittering with a mix of amusement and approval. "An interesting proposal, Count Dooku, but why should I take you as my apprentice? What do you have to offer me?" Dooku smiled, a fierce gleam in his eyes. "Power, Darth Plagueis. Raw, unbridled power. I have mastered the ways of the dark side, and I can teach you things that you never dreamed possible. Together, we can achieve greatness. We can reshape the galaxy in our image." Plagueis regarded Dooku for a long moment, weighing his words carefully. "Very well, Count Dooku. I accept your offer, but know this, you will be my apprentice, and you will obey my every command. There is no room for dissent or disobedience in the Sith Order." Dooku bowed, his expression respectful. "I understand, Darth Plagueis, and I am ready to serve." And with those words, Plagueis took Dooku as his apprentice, ushering in a new era of darkness and terror in the galaxy, as the Sith plotted and schemed to achieve their ultimate goal, the destruction of the Jedi and the domination of the galaxy. Would Obi-Wan still train Anakin? With the death of Palpatine and the upheaval in the Sith Order, the Jedi found themselves in a state of flux. The Council, led by Yoda and Mace Windu, had been devastated by the revelation that their own trusted friend and ally, Chancellor Palpatine, had been a Sith Lord all along. But in the aftermath of Palpatine's death, the Council was faced with a new challenge. What to do with Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, and the former apprentice of Palpatine? Huh? Former apprentice of Palpatine. Obi-Wan, who had always been close to Anakin, was deeply concerned about his former Padawan's future. Hope you guys are enjoying this fanfic. Right. He knew that Anakin was prone to anger and impulsive behavior, and he worried that he might be vulnerable to the dark side of the Force. But he also knew that Anakin was a gifted Jedi with a natural talent for the ways of the Force. One day, as he was meditating in the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan received a summons from Yoda. When he arrived in the council chamber, he found Yoda and Mace Windu waiting for him. "Master Kenobi," Yoda said, his voice grave, "a great burden has been laid upon us. With the death of the Sith Lord Palpatine, we are left with a difficult decision. The Chosen One, young Skywalker, has no master. Who will train him?" Obi-Wan bowed respectfully. "I will, if you allow it." Yoda regarded him thoughtfully. "A weighty decision this is. The fate of the galaxy may depend on it. Are you certain, Master Kenobi?" Obi-Wan nodded. "I am. Anakin is a gifted Jedi, and I believe I can help him stay on the right path. I won't fail him again." Mace Windu spoke up, his voice skeptical. "And what of your previous failures, Master Kenobi? Do you truly believe you can handle the Chosen One?" And Obi-Wan's expression was pained. I know that I made mistakes with Anakin, but I also know that he is capable of great things. He has the potential to be the greatest Jedi of all time, and I won't let him fall to the dark side." Yoda regarded Obi-Wan for a long moment, his eyes unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "Very well, Master Kenobi. Train the boy. You shall. But be careful. The dark side is always watching. Always watching. Be mindful. Always waiting. Be mindful of your emotions and keep your focus on the light." Obi-Wan bowed respectfully. "I will, Master Yoda. Thank you for your trust." And with that, Obi-Wan took on the daunting task of training the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker. Right, Ages Adventures, hopefully you guys are enjoying this. It would not be an easy road, and many challenges lay ahead, but Obi-Wan was determined to succeed, and to help Anakin realize his full potential as a Jedi Knight. How would Higo Damask meet Anakin? Honestly, I don't know how Higo Damask would meet Anakin. Question is, would they even meet? I mean, I believe they would meet, but yeah, let's go through this. After the death of Palpatine and the revelation of his identity as a Sith Lord, the galaxy was in turmoil. Many worlds were struggling to rebuild and recover from the chaos that had engulfed them. And the Jedi Order was facing a difficult rebuilding process. In the midst of all of this, a man named Higo Damask emerged as a prominent figure in the galaxy. Higo Damask was a wealthy and influential businessman who had long been involved in politics and the workings of the Republic. But he was also a mysterious figure, with few people knowing much about his background or his motivations. It was rumored that he had ties to the Jedi Order, and that he had once been a close ally of the late Chancellor of Lorne. One day, Anakin was training with Obi-Wan in the Jedi Temple. As Anakin was training with Obi-Wan in the Jedi Temple, they received a visit from Higo Damask. Anakin was immediately curious about the enigmatic businessman as he approached him with a mix of suspicion and fascination. "Hello there," Anakin said.
Audacious adventure.
"Hello there," Anakin said, eyeing Higo warily. "What brings you to the temple?" Higo smiled warmly. "Greetings, young Skywalker. I have come to offer my assistance to the Jedi Order in its time of need." Obi-Wan, who had been observing the exchange, stepped forward. "And what kind of assistance would that be, Mr. Damask?" Higo's smile widened. "Well, Master Kenobi, I have many resources at my disposal. I can provide funding and support for your efforts to rebuild the Order. And I can also offer my expertise of politics and diplomacy. I believe that with my help, the Jedi can emerge stronger than ever." Anakin was still skeptical. "And what do you get out of this, Mr. Damask? Would you still want to help the Jedi?" Higo's expression grew more serious. "I have my reasons, young Skywalker. Let us say that I have a vested interest in seeing the galaxy restored to peace and stability, and I believe that the Jedi can play a crucial role in that process." Obi-Wan regarded Higo thoughtfully. "And what of your ties to the Jedi, Mr. Damask? We have heard rumors that you were once a close ally of Chancellor Valorum, and that you may have been involved with the Order in some capacity." Higo's smile faded slightly. "Ah, yes, those rumors. It is true that I have had dealings with the Jedi in the past, but let us say that my loyalties have shifted in recent years. I believe that the Jedi can still be a source for good in the galaxy, despite recent events." Anakin was still wary, but he could sense there was more to Higo Damask than met the eye. "Well, we could certainly use all the help we can get," he said finally. "What do you suggest we do next, Mr. Damask?" Higo's smile returned. "First, we should discuss the future of the Jedi Order. I have some ideas that I think you will find intriguing." And with that, the mysterious businessman began to outline his vision for the future of the galaxy, a vision that would ultimately involve Anakin in the ways that he could not have foreseen. Would the clones still come into the possession of the Republic? Yes, I believe the clones would still come into possession of the Republic. Would Shmi Skywalker still die? Yes, I believe she would still die. I believe she would still have the same fate. Would Anakin and Padme still get married and have children? Yes, I believe they would definitely still get married, and I also believe they would still have children. Would Plagueis turn Anakin to the dark side? In this alternate timeline, Anakin's path to the dark side was quite a different one from what happened in the original timeline. However, the dark side still cast its shadow over Anakin's life. Darth Plagueis had been keeping a watchful eye on Anakin ever since the young boy had been brought to the Jedi Temple. He had sensed the tremendous potential for power that lay within him, and he knew that if he could turn Anakin to the dark side, the galaxy would be to his command. One day, as Anakin was wandering the streets of Coruscant, he was approached by a dark cloaked figure. The figure beckoned him into a nearby alley and revealed himself to be Darth Plagueis. "Anakin Skywalker," Plagueis said, his voice low and gravely. "I have been watching you, young Jedi. Your power is great, but it is wasted in service to the Jedi Order." Anakin bristled at the mention of the Jedi, but he couldn't deny the thrill of excitement that ran through him at the thought of tapping into his full potential. "What do you want from me?" Anakin demanded. I want to offer you the power that the Jedi deny you," Plagueis said. "Join me, and together we can unlock the true potential of the Force." Anakin was torn. He knew that the Jedi Order forbade the use of the dark side, but he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something he was missing. "What would I have to do?" he asked. "Only embrace your true nature," Plagueis said. "The power of the dark side is yours for the taking. Will you join me?" Anakin hesitated for a moment, but the pull of the dark side was too strong to resist. He nodded slowly. "I'll do it," he said. Plagueis smiled, his eyes glittering with anticipation. "Good," he said. "Together we will rule the galaxy." Would Ahsoka still become Anakin's Padawan? In this alternate timeline, where Darth Plagueis had successfully turned Anakin to the dark side, Ahsoka Tano never became Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. After turning to the dark side, Anakin became a feared and ruthless enforcer for Darth Plagueis, carrying out the Sith's orders with a deadly precision. As the Clone Wars raged on, with the Republic and the Separatists locked in a bloody conflict that showed no signs of slowing down. Ahsoka, meanwhile, continued to serve the Jedi Order, taking on various missions and assignments as a Jedi Knight. She had heard rumors of Anakin's fall to the dark side, but she refused to believe them. In her mind, Anakin was still the brave and noble Jedi Knight she had known and respected. One day, while on a mission to a remote planet, Ahsoka found herself face to face with Anakin. He had been sent by Darth Plagueis to eliminate a group of separatist leaders who were holed up on the planet. And Ahsoka had been sent by the Jedi to negotiate a peace treaty. At first, Ahsoka was overjoyed to see her former master, but when she looked into his eyes, she saw a darkness there that showed her to the bone. "Anakin," she said, her voice trembling, "what's happened to you? Why are you working for the Sith?" Anakin regarded her with cold detachment. "I'm doing what I have to do to survive," he said. "The Jedi Order abandoned me, Ahsoka. They never understood me, never appreciated what I could do. But now, with the power of the dark side at my command, I am unstoppable." Ahsoka shook her head in disbelief. "That's not true, Anakin. The Jedi would have stood by you no matter what, but you chose this path. You chose the dark side." Anakin's expression hardened. "You're still a child, Ahsoka," he said. You don't understand the true nature of power, but you will in time. And when you do, you'll realize that the dark side is the only way. Ahsoka took a step back, her hand going to the hilt of her lightsaber. I won't let you hurt anyone else, Anakin, she said. Anakin ignited his own lightsaber, the blade humming to life. I'm afraid you don't have a choice, Ahsoka, he said. You're either with me or against me. And with that, the former master and apprentice engaged in a fierce, deadly duel, each determined to prove the superiority to their chosen path. Would Plagueis take over the galaxy and create the Empire? Yes, I believe that would still happen. I believe Plagueis would still create the Empire. Would Order 66 still happen? Yes, I believe Order 66 would still happen, and it would probably be in a different way now that Anakin was already with the dark side and with Plagueis. How would Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Padme, and the Jedi react to Anakin's fall to the dark side? I believe they would be in grieving and mourning Anakin's turn and really want to turn him back to the light. Would Mace and Padme still die? No, I don't think they would still die. How would the Senate react to Plagueis and Anakin being Sith and creating an empire? I believe the Senate would be in shock, but would also be in fear and would just be like, yeah, we'll just join you. Just like they did with Palpatine. How would Padme react to seeing Anakin and Plagueis from her pod in the Senate chamber? I believe Padme would be in shock. Would Plagueis and Anakin demolish the Senate? Yes, I believe they would definitely demolish the Senate. But here we go. Actually, yeah, let's move on. Would the Jedi train Luke and Leia? Yes, I believe Luke and Leia would be trained as Jedi. Would Plagueis kill Valorum and become Emperor? Yes, I do believe that they would kill Valorum, and the Senate would definitely be in shock and fear. They would erupt into chaos. How would Padme react to Plagueis and Anakin killing Valorum from her Senate pod? I believe Padme would not know what to do with herself, probably. Would Luke and Leia be able to redeem Anakin? Yes, I believe they would be able to redeem Anakin. Would Anakin, Luke, and Leia be able to defeat Plagueis? Yes, I do believe they would be able to defeat Plagueis, but I believe that it would take all of their strength in order to do it. What would the Jedi and the Senate do with Anakin? Honestly, I don't know. I believe they would give him a chance of redemption. Because I believe in redemption. Would Anakin still train his children in the Force? Yes, I do believe he would do that. Who would become the Chancellor after Plagueis' death? I believe it would be Bail Organa. Because Bail Organa, he always has a proven track record of himself. I don't think it would be Padme. Although I would love it too. I think it would be Bail Organa. But yeah, that's my fanfic. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And right now, I do my closing and say bye. Make sure to like, comment in the discussion tab, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Bye.